The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Geneva, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast with limited commercials. Now, here's host Dom Geneva.
Well, welcome to another edition of your No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Geneva, your host, every Saturday right here at 10 a.m. And if this show is for people that you know that you want to know more about, this show certainly is, because I have the honor of having in my office Mayor Malik Evans. How are you doing? This is the second time. Well, second time this year, I guess. If you call December 30th was when you were on last.
That was on the cusp of this year. So
on the cusp. So.
On the cusp of a new year, but it's great to be back. Always great to be in the No Nonsense Roundtable studio. So I'm glad to be here.
And they're not actually in the city of Rochester. So I mean, I appreciate you coming down here to be in our studios.
Well, you know, we are. When I say Rochester, it's a region. When you're on the airplane, you don't say Honeyway Falls, you say Rochester. So, we are glad that Rochester's, we always say, as I said last time I was here, Rochester's the heartbeat of the region. So it's important for us to venture out, and we like to venture out.
Well, and that's one of the things you said on one of the first shows that I thought was very intuitive is that you know that Rochester is more than just the city of Rochester, because I have to tell you, Anita and I, as you know, are transplants, and we've come here to start our business and raise our family, and this is a great place to live. I mean, it really is. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about that.
It is a great place to live, and I tell people all the time the cost of living. And then just the opportunity. You know, yesterday I was out and about. You know, I'm always busy, 5-6 events on the weekends. And I was just marveling to the folks that were with me. I said, do you realize that we were just downtown next to a river, and now here we are standing near a beach, all within 10 minutes of each other?
Oh, yeah.
And there were all these activities going on. I mean, you know, there's people having parties, there's people bike riding and kayaking and sunning on the beach. I mean, all within Rochester. I mean, it really is an amazing, unique area with some of the most breathtaking beauty, I believe, in the country.
Well, and one of the things that, I just wrote an article for the Rochester Business Journal, and I was inspired by what the RPO did at the Eclipse Spectacular back when.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what they did. It's just absolutely amazing. So it was a concert. It was a laser show. It was a video show. It was a
Cirque du Soleil,
a ballet, and then
gospel show,
gospel choir, and a laser show. Yeah. And I'm looking at this. I'm going, oh my Lord, we have, I mean, really, all the stuff that we have here. And, you know, in the article I say, well, I'm driving to see my daughter in South Bend, and I'm thinking about things. The cat that I have with me is not very communicative.
Right,
I mean, you know, nobody to talk to. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going, man, we really have a culture here. We have a culture that really transcends a lot of other communities, and that's not even talking about, you know, you have the National Toy Hall of Fame, right, and
Video Game Hall of Fame, Toy Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, the museum is taking off on leaps and bounds. Is absolutely unbelievable. We do, and I think that spectacular, and all of the people who were in town for the eclipse really got people thinking that Rochester is a place that is extremely special. And to your point that we've been talking about is, how do you market it to let people understand and know that we really are this special place with all of these unique things in the arts and culture, but also on the technology side,
right?
Know?
And the colleges and
universities that are there. I mean, Bob Duffy. Speaking of RBJ, you had your article. Bob Duffy just had an article in the RBJ, and his sentiment was similar to yours. It was this past week, and he talked about how Rochester was having all this good news, and how it's, if you listen to some people on social media, it's still glass half empty instead of glass half full. And he talked about the tech hub, and he talked about Constellation Brands opening, Fortune 500 company opening right in the middle of downtown. You're talking about all the arts and culture that we had. So it's just so much going on. And the question is, how do we connect the dots to let people know that Rochester is this destination?
Well, in my marketing experience, I'll word it this way, whether it's right or not. If you don't brand yourself, other people brand you.
That's right. You got to know your history. You got to know your history. My dad used to say, may he rest in peace. Son, you got to know your story. Right. Because if you don't tell your story, somebody else will write it for you. And it's probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of what I try to do with the show is illustrate people that you may not know. I mean, right. and people that you do know. But the thing is that I'm just throwing the idea out there. I think we should have something like the Kennedy Center. Right. Where we celebrate so many different facets of the cultural things that we have that a lot of other communities don't have, But in addition to that, I know the Flower City is a wonderful statement. You talk to people downstate and they go, does that mean lilacs or is that like Bisquick? I mean, what kind of flower? What kind of flower are you talking about? But the thing is that. It's a center of innovation. In California, you have
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, yes. And I was saying the other day. I said I don't know much about Austin, Texas. Other than the fact that I know Austin, Texas has a vibe,
right? Well,
and has a reputation.
Well, they have that saying, "Keep Austin weird" or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've been to Austin several times, but Rochester reminds me of Austin, actually.
Right.
It reminds me very much of Austin. The food scene, the food trucks.
Yeah.
But Austin is the state capital. But they don't have a professional sports team. Like we don't have a Division I or any of those other things. But we have our Red Wings. We have our soccer teams. We have the Amerks. We have the Nighthawks. But Austin also has colleges and universities that they highlight and keep track of. So in many ways, we have a lot in common with Austin, except for our cost of living is a little bit better in terms of cost. Right?
Oh, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, and I think people need to realize that too. I mean, I couldn't afford anything close to what I have here if I was living anyplace else. And plus, I mean, even something as simple as getting to the airport. My daughter lives in Brooklyn, and it costs her almost $100 each way to go from Brooklyn. To Kennedy Airport, which happens to be in Brooklyn. Yeah.
And we can get to the Greater Rochester International Airport, regardless of what town, county, or side of town you live in, between 15 minutes and a half hour. And a half hour would be much.
Yeah, and the parking's not $50 a day either.
No, you can park your car there and get right out and enjoy a world-class airport that has been invested in. It's a beautiful airport. It's not huge, just the right size. So we have a lot going for us. But I think one of the things that we can highlight and can continue to highlight, and some of the things I do when I'm talking about Rochester and wanting companies to come here or people to live here, is I say that we are the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. We have both innovation, but we also have arts. Right. So we are a center for innovation and arts.
Right.
CIA. I don't know. I just Center for Innovation and Arts, but that's what we are. Or a destination, DIA, Destination for Innovation and Arts.
Well, and pulling all these things together. I mean, you have we are on the cusp of great things. I mean, the world has changed, and one of the things that you said a while ago is that we used to be a company town.
Now we're a town of companies.
Town of companies, yes. But that is the way the whole world has been working.
That is. I mean, people are surprised that they'll watch something on TV and I'll say, that was mixed here in Rochester. They say, what do you mean? Yeah. I say, well, because we have, you go a little bit south of Rochester and you go to Innovation Studios at RIT, which is amazing. If anybody hasn't seen it, they need to. I mean, there is a huge sound stage in the county of Monroe, just south of the city of Rochester, and it's at RIT, and they do all types of things for television and movies. People don't know it. That's there. Video games. Some of the video games are made in the Innovation Zone downtown over at 1 East Avenue. There is a company that makes video. People don't know that.
This is a cool place to live.
That's right.
And we're going to talk more about that, after these cool commercials.
That's right.
Hey, this is Dom. I have a long driveway, a quarter-mile long. Somebody told me about these two young guys, the Jaroszynski brothers. They do driveway sealing. Man, they did a great job for me at a great price. Jaroszynski brothers. Spelled like jar, O-sin, and ski, like, well, what you do in the winter. Go to jaroszynskibrothers.com, or better yet, go to my new page on no-nonsense-roundtable.com. Businesses I use and like. Never a paid ad, just people I recommend. This is Dom Genova for my friend Jim Shelley and his Fanatics Pub in Lima. This week, Jim is the major sponsor of the Lima Crossroads Festival, August 1st through the 4th. They have 26 bands, food trucks, beer, merchandise vendors, a petting zoo for the kids with pony rides, a bed race, a parade, and a barbecue cook-off. It's a hoot every year. You'll love it. Go to limafest.org for more details. I'm going to be there, I think, for the barbecue and the beer. Well, and the bands. Well, welcome back. We're talking to... or with, I guess is a nicer way to say it.
That's right, not to.
Not to. Mayor Malik Evans, and fourth time on the show. I love having you here because I just have to let you go. You know what you want to say, which
That's
is
right.
wonderful. Now you were a corporate employee just like me.
That's right.
More successful than I was.
I'm just trying to get up to your level, man. What do you mean? What do you mean?
No. I ticked so many people off. I had to leave and become more successful doing something else. But but my life didn't change all that much, like being recognized and being out in the public and whatever. So, tell me a little bit about that, because when you were working for ESNL, nobody would come up to you at a restaurant and start yapping at you or whatever. Well, you have that happen now. I mean, you have to, right?
Well, they might a little bit, but it happens a lot more than you can imagine now, because when you're the mayor, you're constantly in the public eye, constantly on TV. And I'll tell you a crazy story. Sometimes I travel with security, obviously, because you have to do that. This is the world we live in, as you all know. We don't need to get into that. But I was in I took my son to go see. He likes the Ravens, and I'm a big Bills fan. So we went to the Baltimore Bills game, and my kids go, "Oh, Dad, no one's going to recognize you here." I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Of course." Nobody. I said, "Who the hell knows who the mayor of Rochester is in Baltimore, Maryland?" All of a sudden, there's a group of people, and you hear, "Is that the mayor of Rochester?" And they come up to me and they go, "Oh yeah, you look familiar, so we pulled you up on our phone, and we Googled a picture of Evans family, and here you guys are, and here we are. We run into you." So and that was in Baltimore on the street, just outside the Ravens, the Ravens stadium. So you get recognized on a regular basis, and then you have people who want to give you their ideas. When you're, basically having lunch.
You're there with your family.
Right.
And you got to be nice to them. I mean, obviously.
Well, I'm a nice guy.
Nice as you can.
Well, the good thing is that I'm a social type. I'm a social person, but not everyone has my personality.
Right.
Because but sometimes people are nervous to come up to me because they end up getting an assignment. They'll come up to me and say, "Mayor, I got an idea." And I say, "Oh, you got an idea, huh? You're on this committee now. Give me your name. Give me your name. You're gonna."
Do you have any particular crazy story you can tell me about that? Somebody come up to you with something really unusual you can actually talk about?
We get a lot of,
because I have one for you.
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we have lots of different ideas. I mean, there was, not crazy ideas, but requests that people may have. The best one, which many people have heard, was my first week in office. There was a woman that wanted me to come over and shave her cat because the cat had gotten too big and she couldn't do it. And that was a request. And so my first year in office, that was a funny story that the staff would relay regularly of requests from the mayor. But you get all types of requests because one of the things you realize in this office is people don't know who to call.
Okay.
So they call, naturally, the mayor's office. So we have had people that say, "Can you come over and mediate a dispute between my roommate? Can you tell me how I can get tickets to a baseball game?" There was a baseball game. I shared this with the Red Wings. There was the Red Wings when they had the Yankee player that was playing, and they were sold out. People were calling me or coming up to me on the street saying, "Hey, can you give me tickets to the Red Wings game?" So I mean, you get these requests for all types of things that happen. But we always take it with good humor. And I guess it's better to be recognized than not recognized at all, right?
Yeah, I have a story for you because I finally, after all these years, I've actually achieved one of the accomplishments that I wanted to achieve. So the other day, I had a flat tire on my truck, and I drive it into, and they're wonderful people. So I'm going to mention the name. It's Monroe Muffler.
Oh yeah,
in Avon.
Iconic Rochester company.
Yeah, in Avon, and so I'm dressed in my jeans and whatever, just have a baseball hat on, and the gal behind the counter goes, "Hi, are you the Raccoon Man?"
Why the Raccoon Man?
I go, the Raccoon Man. Why did she goes? Yeah, she goes. We called somebody just recently to capture the raccoon.
Wow, and she thought you were the guy.
I was the Raccoon Man. Yes,
wow.
And you get to a certain level of success, and you dress down on purpose, and somebody thinks that you're the Raccoon Man. And I thought that was great.
Well,
I really do.
I think that you should have an opening to the show now where you say the No Nonsense Roundtable, and someone can say hosted by the Raccoon Man.
But you know what? You always think at night what you should have said and you didn't say.
That's right. There's a whole Seinfeld episode about that.
Yeah, what I should have said. No, I am the walrus. Cuckoo-ca-choo.
Right. Yeah, you could have come up with something else.
Yeah.
And then you probably, you can always go back and...
The Raccoon Man.
The Raccoon Man.
Well, they say Warren Buffett rides around in, like a 1993 Ford or something like that.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. I it's like, fine. I have a 10-year-old car.
Yeah.
But if, you get a certain level of success, and now you're the Raccoon Man.
Well.
I love it.
But sometimes it's good to be the Raccoon Man.
Yeah. It is. I don't know. I'm proud of myself. I think it shows a wonderful lack of self-respect or something.
The Raccoon Man.
Well, yeah. Okay, so let's touch on something that we talked about last show, and it's here in my notes. The corner of Main and Clinton.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I talked about that regularly.
Yes.
I mean, the corner of Main and Clinton is now moving along. That was an eyesore. Those four corners. It was to use a word that. When we broke ground on that a couple of weeks ago, one of the folks said, "I'm glad that we are finally breaking ground and you see scaffolding and the work taking place, because now the mayor of Rochester can stop using the word abomination." Because that is the word that I used to describe that corner. It was absolutely ridiculous the way it looked for many years, and that was one of my top priorities when I got into office, to push to make that happen. And it's happening through a great public-private partnership. It's going to be called Harper's Corner. You're going to have apartments there. You're going to have commercial space on the ground floor, and then going west, you're going to have just a cavalcade of development that's happening. You're going to have a open square that's going to be there where people can gather. You're going to have other housing that's going to be taking place there. But it's going to be anchored by a place called Harper's Corner, which is going to be transformative for our city and going to fit right in with the other four corners. The four corner, you have the Great Metropolitan Building, then you have the DNC building that's over there, and then you have the Sibley's building. And now on the fourth corner piece of the puzzle, you're going to have Harper's Corner, which is going to be absolutely spectacular, and we're looking forward to next year and cutting the ribbon on that place.
And that's not the only stuff that's going on. You have how's the tree thing going?
The tree is going amazing. We'll have our goal of 6,000 new trees planted from 2022, from the day I was sworn in till the end of next year. It's going to be amazing. We looked at the four corners of the city and said, where is it where we are lacking trees? And let me tell you something. This summer, I have an even greater appreciation for trees because of all the parades I marched in. I mean, it is literally 10 to 15 degrees cooler when you're under a tree. So now that is only going to contribute to the tree canopy in Rochester, make streets more attractive, make houses more attractive, but also we're doing a great thing for the environment, but more so for anything else, we're doing a great thing for the residents of Rochester.
Well, we're about ready to head into the news break, and you're listening to Mayor Malik Evans and the Raccoon Man.
Raccoon Man.
The Raccoon Man. We'll talk more about this stuff right after this. And now here's co-founder of the Rascals, inductee of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Rochester guy Gene Cornish to say a word about his favorite team.
The Red Wings rock. I've been a fan since I was a kid. in my bedroom hearing the cheers from Silver Stadium. Memories I will never forget. Here's what's happening this week.
The Wings are home this weekend. Friday is Cancer Survivors Night with fireworks. Saturday is Christmas in July night with a Matt Leafroy bobblehead giveaway and fireworks. Sunday is PBS Kids Day and kids can run the bases. For tickets, visit redwingsbaseball.com.
Welcome back. We're talking to Mayor Malik Evans today. Fourth time on the show. Thank you.
Fourth time
on the show.
we got to make it. We got to keep the run.
Well, next time I got to cook for you. I've been doing that for a number of different guests. Oh, yes. I'll make you some. The other day I had Naomi Silver out here.
Great lady.
I made her some clam sauce.
Yeah,
it was great. And then I had Gene Corn. Same thing. Clam sauce. Why is clam sauce all the time? But yeah, I cook, so we'll have you over someday, and you can taste my cuisine.
All right.
One of the things we were talking about, this word climate refugees. Let's talk about climate refugees, because that really is an interesting concept.
Well, think about it. If you live in a place where you have had massive flooding or mudslides, and you're seeing this on a regular basis, I mean, some of these poor folks in Florida or California, or Arizona, they've run places where they have run out of water. So I was at an event and I ran into someone and I said, "How did you end up picking Rochester?" And you know what they said?
What?
They said, "We were sick and tired of droughts, and we were tired of having to have our water monitored, and it felt great to come to Rochester and be able to wash the dishes without worrying about without worrying about turning the water off, because we are so blessed in terms of how plentiful our water is, and how good our water is. We get our water from Hemlock Lake here, at least that's where Rochester we get our water from. It is some of the best water in the country, and we are one of the few places where you have a lake, a river, a waterfall, and a canal all within 10 miles of each other. Yeah. So because of that, we have seen an influx of people coming to the region, city of Rochester, Brighton, Pittsford, all over. You picked a spot that are coming to this region because of our water and, knock on wood, our stable weather. Now, we may get the snow and some of that other stuff, but our weather is a pretty stable is a pretty stable place. I mean, we may have the heat and some of the other things, but it's a great place.
Well, the thing is, you don't have the catastrophic things you have other places.
Right.
I mean, you don't have hurricanes,
earthquakes, tornadoes, right?
Wildfires.
Yeah.
Wildfires. I would say the tornado thing is like 1 in a million. I mean, I was out last week at South Bend. With my daughter and the family.
Great place,
Indiana. But the sirens going off and
you get used to it.
Yeah.
I was in Kansas City and the sirens went off and you go to a location and wait for it to pass and then you go through. So I think that has made our region very attractiveness when you look at our weather. So I see our weather as a positive. There are people, that cold. Well, I say, well, you know what? But we've celebrated winter. Right. And what did I do last year? We started a Winter Fest. And our Winter Fest was very, very popular. We started a Winter Fest because we wanted to celebrate the weather and all that we have to offer. We had the food trucks out, our cuisine, because we are known for our cuisine. I remind people, Red Restaurant is a Michelin certified restaurant right in the middle of the city of downtown. So we are known for our cuisine, one of the few places outside of New York City that actually has a commissary incubator for food.
Oh yeah.
So we have so many things that are here, and I think when people come, I always love visitors because visitors sometimes market ourselves better than other folks. And you've been talking about this this how can you market Rochester? You should put something out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever it is that you use. I'm not a big social media guy, but I have to use it for the business. You should put something out to ask, hey, what should we say Rochester should be known as? Because we're known for so many different things. But can you encapsulate everything and say in a word, what would you to describe Rochester in a positive way? What are 1, 2, or 3 words that you would be saying? I said, innovation in arts.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because it transcends just one thing. I would like to really investigate what people think about this idea of like a Kennedy Center. I don't mean the Kennedy Center has to be a building Kennedy Center.
But the concept, where you have multiple things happening.
Yeah. You celebrate all these different things because the Eastman Museum, they do their award. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, but they give an award to Jodie Foster, let's say, and then you have the Music Hall of Fame, and they're doing something, and then you have these other organizations that are doing all these things. And if you had one place where you could have a performance like the Eclipse performance, I'm still over the moon.
You're over the moon at an Eclipse performance. You enjoyed it.
I have to.
Well, it was very successful. Well, I see why you're over the moon. I mean, first off, it was packed out. It was stacked. It was stacked with people. It started about 40 minutes late because the line stretched from the front door of the Blue Cross Arena past the dinosaur barbecue,
right,
which is unheard of. People have never seen anything like that. And because you had such a variety of things that showed Rochester, you had this great enthusiasm because it was a beautiful day. The Red Wings were playing the day before. You had national and international media here. I was giving interviews with folks from Germany and Ireland and the English newspaper, the Weather Channel. Everyone was here. So you had those elements all touching into one, and that's what got people so excited. And so the question is how can you continue to keep that excitement throughout the rest of the days that we have in Rochester? And we have it. We have Fringe Fest. We have the Jazz Fest. We have so many things that are happening on a regular basis here in Rochester.
Well, and I think that could be one part of the puzzle. So if you look at the different facets, you have this tradition and encouragement of innovation.
Right.
Okay. You have startup businesses, like you were saying about the commissary helping that. They're going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. And then you have the colleges and world-class colleges. Right, and this cultural thing that transcends not only music but dance and whatever. I mean everything. And so why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side, right?
No, to prove to the possum that it can be done.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay,
and the possum didn't get it. Or the raccoon.
Oh, I'm gonna rue the day I said that.
Yeah, you gave me material, man.
I know. But the thing about it is that. If you did something like that on a regular basis, you did maybe I was talking to Jeff Tysick, and Jeff said we actually did that with one rehearsal.
Oh, I heard. Yeah. And you wouldn't know it. I mean, it was something.
Yeah. And he said, and we spent a lot of money on it. He says, and we made money.
Well, so it was a lot of people.
That's the key. That's the key.
You got to make. I mean, it could be something annual. Do you call it the Rochester Honors?
Yeah.
And you find a place to host it.
Yeah.
And you kind of all those elements that you saw there. I mean, we really promoted the heck out of that. We had we had the press conference for that probably 3 or 4 months before it happened. But we started planning that Eclipse. All the events so much earlier. And think about it. That was just a huge event. That was just one of many events. I mean, I was at so many. I attended so many different Eclipse events that really put Rochester on the map.
Well, I mean, how many times in my experience, if you had something like that and you said you had one shot at it, it was one shot. It's not like you rehearsed this over and over and whatever. You had one shot and you pulled it together, and it was seamless. It was absolutely seamless. So it can be done. And I jokingly said to Jeff, I says, well, why don't you just do this every solstice?
Hey, why not? Listen, I'm all for a good party. You know me. I'm the guy that started the City Hall block party, and now we have. It started with one, and now we have 4 or 5 City Hall block parties outside of City Hall every year. So I'm all about entertaining and putting Rochester together. From the music fest from the Rochester Music Fest to the Jazz Fest to the, you name it, Party in the Park. I mean, there is so much going on in Rochester right now. I always say you have to be under a rock to not be able to find something to do, and most of it is free. Yeah. For example, at the public market, you could go to the public market on Sunday for the community garage sale. Then you can go on Wednesday for the food truck rodeo, and then on Friday you can go for Bands on the Brick. On Thursday you can go to MLK Park and see Party in the Park. It's just so much going on. You can go down for concerts by the shore, movies by the shore. There's just so much going on, and then the RPO Spectacular, which is all around the city. Mm-hmm. They're playing in all different city neighborhoods, and just last week we did it again on Parcel 5s, and it was so packed. It probably was the biggest crowd we ever had, and they played movie themes from different movies. So my kids got a kick out of Jaws being played by an orchestra.
All good stuff, and we're gonna have more good stuff. Well, after this break. This is Dom from my friends at Jack Greco Furniture. You drive your car, you live with your furniture. That's why Nita and I buy our furniture locally from Jack Greco. Hey, lots of old name furniture manufacturers switch to mass production, producing their furniture who knows where. Why settle for that? Jack has quality pieces made by true craftsmen, and if you need a custom piece, Jack can do that for you too. The season's upon us. Jack has quality outdoor furniture you won't find anywhere else. Go to jackgreco.com. This is Dom for my friend John McClurg. John has 2 dealerships, McClurg Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and McClurg Chevrolet, both in Perry. Hey, you don't buy a car all that often, so when you do, shouldn't you go to a place you can put your trust in? You can depend on McClurg. John's dealerships are family dealerships where people you deal with today are the people you will deal with tomorrow. No nonsense. Go visit them at McClurg ChryslerDodgeJeep.com or McClurgChevrolet.com. Well, welcome back. We're talking to Mayor Malik Evans. The reason I say it like that, Malik, is that some old radio guy said, you shouldn't say welcome back all the time. So sometimes I just do that on purpose.
Just to say, why should you not say welcome back?
I have no idea.
Can you say we're back or hey?
No, I have no idea. So I said to the fellow, I said, nobody's saying, I would listen to that show on Saturday, but damn it. The host says welcome back all the time.
Right.
I have bigger faults than that.
Yeah, I think
I have bigger faults than that. Just ask Nita, she'll tell you.
Right, that's right.
But anyway, so we talked about some a little more serious stuff the last time you were on the show. So let's not go into too much detail, but tell me how some things. Let's take a trip around the block, saying things that are in progress, that have worked better than they were, that you promised that are coming to fruition. I'll give you a softball.
Well, public safety is always a major concern for us, and we're happy with the progress that we're making on public safety. There's always violence, and I always tell someone, if anyone is shot or killed, even if it's 10 people, that's a horrible. But when you see numbers, when I took office in Rochester, we had the highest levels of shootings and homicides that we had ever seen in the history of Rochester, as long as Rochester had been keeping statistics. But now we have seen these numbers fall precipitously, and we want them to continue to fall. There is great progress being made in that area, and we want that to continue to happen as we continue to work hard for our residents, because safety is always a major priority. The interesting thing is that there's data that you put out there, but I always say you have to get behind the numbers, because if you're one person that was the victim of a crime, you don't care when the mayor says, hey, shootings are down double digits, homicides are down double digits. Homicides had a record high in 2021. They're down 25% down through June 30th. Those are, but you have to celebrate the successes, because if you don't tell the story, someone else will tell the story,
right?
And that's important. So we're happy about that.
So what's your plans for this summer?
This summer, I have been working very hard this summer. I always try to get a little bit of a vacation in, but I always tell people there's only one person at City Hall that does not have vacation days, and you know who that is?
You?
The mayor. That's me.
Really?
Because when you're a mayor, when you're on vacation, you're on call 24/7. So there's really no such thing.
Well, you never know when somebody needs their cat shaved.
That's right. That's right. You never know when or if you can get them tickets to a baseball game, right? So there is never really a vacation, but there's so much to do here in the city of Rochester that has been that has been great this summer. I mean, we have had so many festivals and events that have taken place that I have that I have attended, right? From our Jazz Fest to our Music Fest is coming up, to the Lilac Festival. We've got so much going on. Our food truck rodeo, our bands on the bricks at the public market. I mean, it's so much.
Well, you celebrate. I mean, Nita and I lived in Charlotte for a while, and when the weather was nice enough, the days were short. 75 degrees outside. But it's getting dark at 5.
Right.
So the weather makes you suffer, but then again, you have all these festivals, and you got the Finger Lakes and all this other stuff too. So tell me what plans you have for the rest of the year. I mean, as far as things we should be looking at for what the city's doing, and things we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I think we should continue to look at our development projects that are happening. I mean, we just opened Austin Stewart Plaza, which is right on the edge of, I call it the edge of downtown. that connects the Pont de Rennes Bridge. This is a $20 million project that I just cut the ribbon on. This is a huge area. I think this will be our next destination spot, similar to where Parcel 5 is. You'll be able to have events there. But the park is now designed. The park is designed and flows the way the Genesee River flows. So you can literally go to this park and it overlooks our beautiful, beautiful Genesee River. This is a great plaza that is amazing for us. You can literally walk along the river. It can take you from downtown to all the way to Cornhill if you walk along the river. And this is a $20 million investment for Rochester, with a great opportunity for people to be able to celebrate nature, but also to have events in this space. Although I don't want to encourage people to have too many events there yet. We just opened it up. So that's going to continue to take place. Our Office of Financial Empowerment, which I talked about before, we're continuing to work on our prototype for a youth savings account, which is going to be big, because I'm all about economic empowerment in terms of giving people power of their futures to move to a prosperity mindset. Our Office of Financial Empowerment will be having some great things happening there. And then, what else I've been up to, I gave residents a 37.5% tax cut. So a lot of people are happy about that. That happened this year. So that was a great high point for us in the city. Both businesses and residential saw a nice tax cut as we going into the next half of our fiscal year, because Rochester's fiscal year actually starts July 1st. So really, I should be saying Happy New Year to you. So, we're also excited. We're also excited about that.
Well, how's the guaranteed income program going?
It's going.
Read on that.
That's. I just had a great movie premiere that talked about guaranteed basic income, and it ends in October. But so far so good. Notre Dame, a place you're very familiar with, is doing the research on that to see how it worked, and I think that people will be pleasantly surprised to know that most people, what they spent the money on. Saving for their future, buying a new car, putting down a down payment for a house. Those were some of the top things that people are looking at saving for, and a lot of these people also work. Most of them work other jobs. So it's been going very well, but we should have more on that soon, because the final report that Notre Dame will be working on should be out soon after the program ends.
Well, this goes along with a concept I believe in. I mean, seriously, and I said during the break, 85% of the stuff I try doesn't work, but 15% of it works. I mean, it's like Edison and the light bulb. You got to try and try and try and try. That's right. And then something catches, and you can't have somebody denigrate you because you failed at something. I mean, that's right. Because you tried, And
that's what innovation does. That's how Rochester. That's how we became an innovative company. That's how we got Eastman Kodak. That's how we got Chester Carlson. That's how we got the Bosches. Yeah. If we did not try, although I think people are a lot more pessimistic than they used to. I don't know if it's social media or everything else, but
more critical than they used to be. More
critical than they used to be. Not positive as they used to be. I think social media plays a lot of the role in that. I think media plays a lot in that. But this is why shows like this are so very important, because we have to have places and spaces where you can actually talk about an issue without it being in some soundbite or people being Debbie Downers.
Well, one of the things Bob Duffy, I've learned a lot from him over
Great
the years.
Cheerleader.
Yeah, great cheerleader. But he talks about not getting into arguments. He says, if I do anything, it's constant, gentle pressure. Right. I love that. But he says most people are between the 20-yard lines. You got the fringes. You got the people that think that the world is flat. And you can argue with them. It's my 7% rule.
Don't argue with them.
7% of the people in the world are either I'll clean up the language are either nuts or they're mean. And you can't you can't do anything with those people.
And the challenge is back in the day, those people would be able to go yell in their house or in their backyard and nobody would know. Yes. But now they have the megaphones of social media or responding to comments and articles, and now they have the ability to be heard in their own little world. Right. So back in the day, we could say, okay, yeah, whatever, go in there, go howl at the moon. Nobody can hear you. Now they howl at the moon and they bring 2 or 3 or 4 other people with them. That's the challenge.
Or 2 or 3, 4 million people. Right. So we are just about out of time. I am delighted that I've had you come spend some time with me and help me explore an idea or two that I had. And I have to remember Abomination and Cavalcade, right? I mean, these are the
I saw
two
you write
words.
those words down.
No,
I wanted to switch. I wanted to get those words in.
The first time
but we got them in.
Obama. I thought you were talking about President Obama.
No,
Obama. Well, Obama Nation.
Yeah, right.
But Abomination and Cavalcade.
I saw you write down Cavalcade.
That's right. So I learned something today beyond our conversation, and thank you ever so much for coming in. You are a great guest, and we'll have to have you on, at the end of the year again.
That's right. Thank you, Raccoon Man.
Next week, same place, same time. It's the No Nonsense Roundtable.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every Saturday from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.